With just 4 games left of the 2023-24 campaign, it's time to take a look at 4 moments which have defined our season so far. Hello, West Ham Network. It's Holly, and today I'm going to be running through 4 of our season-defining moments as we look to the final 4 games of this season. So if you enjoy this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. Drop us a comment below in that comment section, of course, and make sure you have subscribed to the West Ham Network because we'd hate for you to miss out on any of the content. Now, there's no denying that it's been a season of many highs and many lows. So here are the 4 moments which I think have really defined the season and how we're viewing it currently. So up first, we're travelling all the way back to the 26th of August 2023 when we beat Brighton 3-1. So this is a fixture that we have all absolutely dreaded over the years. It's one that we'd hoped to win. We never did. Proper bogey team for us. And we'd drawn 1-1 with Bournemouth, and then we'd just beaten Chelsea 3-1 with 10 men. And then we went on to beat Brighton, right? Amazing. So our 3-1 win saw goals from Ward-Prowse, Bowen and Antonio. And at this point in the season, hopes were really high. These were 3 players that we really wanted to come off for us this season. And it looked as though it was happening. And we were beating teams that we typically struggle against. And we were starting to wonder whether this could be the season that West Ham started picking up points when we should and really start to push on again. Then up next, we are looking at the 26th of February 2024. So this was the date of the Brentford game, which saw the return of Paqueta. So at this point, we hadn't won in 8 games and we shocked everyone as we went 2-0 up within 7 minutes with 2 goals from Bowen in very quick succession. Maupay got one back for the visitors just 6 minutes later, putting us in very dangerous territory. And it looked as though we had a proper game on our hands. But Bowen, he just went and scored again in the second half to get his hat-trick. Emerson then scored to put us up 4-1, and then Wissa got another for Brentford, and in the game 4-2, which was a bit of a shame because it felt like we could have battered them. 4-2 didn't sound quite as dramatic as it looked at the beginning, but we looked a lot more exciting in this game, and a lot more exciting, especially than we had in a long time. And with the return of Paqueta, it just felt like we were linking back up again. And there've been so many times where we thought, is this where we're going to start getting momentum? And then it felt like this was one of those moments, and it put us in really high spirits because that midfield was just starting to link up a little bit, and it looked as though things might start to pick up again. And now we are jumping forward to the 14th of March 2024. We had gone 1-0 down against Freiburg in the first leg, leaving many very worried that this was the beginning of the end of our European journey. The game was at home and we had no choice to put in, basically we just had to put in the performance of all time to keep that European dream alive. And that's exactly what we went and did. So the game ended 5-0 with goals from Paqueta, Bowen, Cresswell and 2 from Kudus, leaving the visitors shocked and seeing us progress to those quarterfinals of the Europa League. And now, unfortunately, finally, the 4th season-defining moment, the one which felt like the end of an era to me. So on the 18th of April 2024, West Ham drew 1-1 at home to Bayer Leverkusen, making it 3-1 to the German side on aggregate. The atmosphere in the stadium was the best I've ever been to at a West Ham game anywhere, including both stadiums. I've never known an atmosphere like that. Everyone stood start to finish, but everyone from start to finish was just screaming. It said a lot that most people basically lost their voice the next day, but the effort from the team was second to none, which spurred on the supporters. It was just supporters were spurring on the team was spurring on the supporters. It was honestly an incredible environment. And we made a real game of it after getting an early goal, which we knew if we were going to do anything, we had to get an early goal so that it made it difficult for the opponents. And that's exactly what we did. But unfortunately, we just left ourselves that bit too much to do. We were closing down so quickly, but you could see by about the 60th minute we were knackered. And ultimately, lack of squad depth did cost us. So as Leverkusen's goal went in, we knew that it was over. You could hear just everyone was just deflated, but a round of applause went round, and it was a really strange atmosphere because you'd gone from being so excited and feeling like it was possible, and at that moment that goal went in the back of the net, everyone knew that it was over. West Ham fans were singing West Ham we love you, and almost everyone stayed behind after the game to clap off the players. We knew it was over, but what a journey we had in Europe, and I've never been more proud than I have, I don't think, that night to be a West Ham fan. And we saw the focus switch back to the league almost instantly. And it just felt, like the end of an era, because we know that it's going to be incredibly hard for us to get European football again next season. But I am still believing. Drop us a comment if you're still believing. Never give up. I will never give up until it's over. But we had hoped that coming out of Europe that this might have brought some sort of momentum or confidence, because we honestly played incredibly against Leverkusen. But the opposite happened, as we had a bit of a European hangover and potentially some tired legs, which saw us lose 5-2 to Palace just 3 days later. Which felt like a massive shame. And I think the problem that we had most with this is we saw how we could play against Leverkusen. We saw that we could be first to the ball, we could close down, we could put pressure on a team that had gone on a 43-game unbeaten streak, and up until the, 86th minute or something, we were actually beating them. We nearly broke their record. And I think that says a lot about how good we can be when we really are on it. I understand that fitness-wise, it's probably a step up. Maybe we had some tired legs in the Palace game. But if we can do that one week, surely we should be able to do it every week. And it brought up a whole new load of questions about why we're not doing this week in, week out, and what the issue with the inconsistencies is there, and how ultimately we can bring this out of the team on a more regular basis. In fact, on a weekly basis. We want to see it all the time. So that now brings us to the current moment. We have the final 4 games of the season to go and get European football, but we know that it's not going to be an easy task by any means. But where do we actually find the ability to do this from? That's the question that I've got, because I'm not currently sure, but I'm hoping that we can pull something out the bag. You never know. We always perform best against the teams that are supposed to be hardest to play against. And with our final 4 games of the season, we've got Liverpool, Chelsea, Luton and Man City. So it's time to put that theory to the test and go and batter some big teams, because if we could get even 6 points out of those 4 games, I feel like it would put us in a very good position. If we beat Luton, or, sometimes we struggle against the teams that you should beat. So nothing is a given in the Premier League. Any team that turns up on the day can win it. There's a lot going on. Obviously, Liverpool need to beat us for them to have a chance of winning the title. City need to beat us last game of the season potentially to win the title. There's a lot going on. Chelsea obviously trying to climb back up after a rocky start. So there's a lot going on, but we need to we need to do it. There's no way around it. If we're going to have European football, we've got to pull something out of the bag that's really special in the last 4 games of the season. How we find that, coming off the back of a defeat like that to Palace, it's very difficult to see at the moment, but it's all or nothing now. So we are going to go. We are going to hopefully do it. But how many points do you think we can get from our final 4 games? I want you to drop a comment below and let us know what you think. So tell us whether you think, first of all, how many points we're going to get from those 4 games. Liverpool, Chelsea, Luton and Man City. And secondly, do you think it's going to be enough to get a European spot? Because it's still very, very close, and it is going to depend on how other teams around us perform. So we need to be hoping that we can get some points and that our opposition struggle a little bit. So do you think we can do it, or do you think we've dropped one too many points to manage this? But that is all from me for now. Please do get involved in that comment section. We're going to be doing a react video very soon where I'm going to include loads of your comments. So have a brilliant day, and until next time, come on you Irons.